All right, we're looking at the Reate PXLT. PLXT. Which one is it? I don't know. Let's get into it, guys. All right, so we got the PLXT from Reate. This one is the pivot lock. PL is pivot lock. I don't know why that didn't stick with me just a minute ago. We're going to be doing some size comparison, profile comparison, weighing the knife, and then we're going to jump into it. Let's kick it off with some size comparisons, guys. This is a small knife here. We got the Kaiser October as our first size comparison knife, and you can see very comparable here, very comparable. And then we got the CJRB Prado, one of my favorite new releases from CJRB in the budget realm, and they did such a good job with the crossbar lock. All right, here it is against the Spyderco Para 3 lightweight and the Manix 2 lightweight. Again, this knife is very comparable to the Para 3 lightweight, if not just a tiny bit smaller. Let's check out the profiles. All right, lining up how the pocket clips are going to let this hang in the pocket. Very unusual that they didn't go deep carry here. You can see it sticks out of the pocket the furthest, but it goes into the pocket least deep or most shallow. Take your pick. Let's check out the profile, because this is where I'm going to start to get into my issues a little bit with this one here. So against the Kaiser October, you can see that the PLXT is substantially thicker, and then we're going to check it out against the Para 3 lightweight, which we know is a fairly thin knife. It's not one of the thinnest out there, but it is pretty thin, guys. This thing is a chunky boy. I am curious. Let's see how it comes in on the scale. All right, we got the scale ready to go. I'm guessing over 3.5. Coming in at 4.2, 4 point of reference with the Applied Weapon Tech scales. You have that 4.2 against the Spyderco Para 3 lightweight, coming in at 2.4. So you see why I'm saying I'm noticing a huge difference. Now let's check it out against the Titanium October. 4.2 might not feel as noticeable because you are comparing it to a all titanium frame lock that's roughly the same size. Guys, that is crazy to me. Let's check out the cutting real quick. All right, let's see what this little guy is like. Again, feeling thick in the geometry and thick in the hand, but overall pretty comfortable. And it seems like the Nitro V is in pretty good shape overall. It does feel like there's a little bit of a snag there, so I'll make sure I strop it before I send it to the next reviewer, and just to see what it feels like. Yeah, good geometry going through that cardboard. No resistance whatsoever. And, you know, the edge is feeling good right there. So, not bad at all. I'll strap this up before I send it off to the next reviewer, but let's kick it back up to the table, guys. All right, that is your cutting with this chunky guy. I will say, it does shine a little bit there. Pocket clip, low profile, not really digging in, a little hard to grip for me in the natural position here, but in that choked up position, I can almost get all 4 fingers on there, barely hanging off the back, so it is accomplishing what it is intended to do when you choke up. But this part here, it is a little sharp. You can see where the scale kind of pokes out a little bit. That does dig into my index finger a little bit when I do choke up, so I can get all 4 fingers on there. Truth be told, it's more comfortable back here with those 3 fingers and getting a little bit of that pinky on than it is to choke up. But I can do that, but it's just not the most comfortable, guys. I like the thickness. That does help with gripping onto the knife, so I do appreciate that. Not a huge fan of all the speed holes here. Just not my thing. I also noticed with the pocket clip, it does kind of bunch up a little bit there. When you go to take it out of the pocket, you can kind of feel it bunching out, and it just catches. Nothing significant there, but they did push it back far enough so that when it goes into the pocket, it goes in smoothly, and you got really good edge retention there. They did jump the back spacer. That's going to help with your grip there. They also gave you a filler tab so that you can reverse the pocket clip for your lefties out there, which will be nice because this actually works really good indexed. So I do like that indexing there for the lefties is available. I just don't love the way those speed holes feel when I'm trying to grip the knife from that side. It is a little bit better holding onto the pocket clip and coming over here, so I do like that. And I think if you flip the pocket clip over, you probably would just land on that instead of the speed holes, so it may not be that big an issue. I didn't flip it didn't really use it left-handed. The detent on here is decent. It is not anything earth-shattering, but it certainly feels, I would say, as good or as equivalent as some of your button locks from like Civivi, Simcut. Actually, I would probably say those button locks may be just a little bit more crisp than this one feels here, but I haven't been able to fail it. The bearings on here are done well enough to where, you know, even lightly kicking it, it's going to carry its momentum out. It has not backed out on me, no up and down movement on me. I do like that. Now this lock is interesting. I'm wondering if it's more for the closed position, because you can push the button slightly and get a little bit of jiggling, but I will say as soon as you let go of the button, it goes away. So I do appreciate that. I would think this is probably more to lock it in the close, but I take that back. So it definitely is an open lockout. I'm not quite sure why they designed it that way. I guess just in case you choke up and you hit that button, it doesn't go anywhere. I'm not 100% sure, but keep in mind, this is pass around. I know that it's been disassembled at least by Lefty. I don't know if that is any impact and or factor for this. I wouldn't think so, but that's just a caveat that I want to throw out there. You can reverse flick, you can thumb flick. I love these thumb studs. These thumb studs are awesome. They work really well. They're very comfortable to use. They're in a really good position below that pivot there. Again, you know, me trying to push it out lethargically, I have to like purposely come off that thumb stud to fail it. It doesn't feel as good to me as the Vosteed. The Vosteed and Kilo felt much better to me as far as the crispness on the detent and the strength of the lock and how it functioned open and close. You know, and again, this is a pass round, so maybe that has something to do with it. The other thing that concerns me a little bit on this one, besides the weight, besides the thickness, it is a pretty thick geometry, so it's going to cut and it'll do hard use task pretty well and hold up well. I think the toughness would hold up well with this Nitro V, but it is not a slicer. I could feel it dragging when moving through the cardboard. You know, it's just, it gets thick really quick and it stays pretty thick even when you get close to the edge here. You can just really feel the thickness out there. And it was noticeable while cutting with it. Also, this is coming in at $112 for Nitro V G10. I get it. It's a pivot lock system, but I think this would have been better suited coming in, you know, 80, 85 bucks, you know, a little bit more than some of the knives that you're getting down here with G10 steel liners and Nitro V. Again, I know it's Reate and I know it's a cool system. It's new. Functionality on it is actually pretty good, but I just feel like 110 is too steep. I would say even like 90. Keep it under that $100 for 90 bucks. Maybe a little bit easier to swallow. I would have liked to see 154 cm on here at that price point. It has far better edge retention. And for folks that might not be really good with keeping up or maintaining their knives, the 154 cm is going to seemingly last longer edge retention wise than your Nitro V or your 14C28N. So to me, it's a little bit of an anomaly. I like the innovation here, and I'd like to see them, you know, maybe thin it up a little bit. Maybe you could have come out with a thinner blade stock. Prado is probably going to be my best example out here on the table. You know, a little bit of a thinner blade stock would have probably helped you keep the thinness down on the knife overall. So that could have been one way that you went. I would like to see a PL XT XL. That's too many initials, but or acronyms. But you know, a little bit bigger, a little bit thinner geometry on here, and let's kick it up to 154 cm. I think that would make this much more interesting at that price point. But other than that, I can't say that it's not built well, and you know, it's gonna cut. It's not a slicer, but it's gonna cut, and I do like that it has this lock system on it instead of the button lock. It does clean it up a little bit. Confused by the lockout. That does concern me that they felt like they needed to put that lockout on there. Maybe that's precautionary, but that does concern me that they felt like they needed to have that on there, because otherwise it's really clean. It'd be really clean. if they didn't have to have that lock on there, because that to me replaces where a button lock normally sits. But let me know what you think about this one down in the comments, guys. I really appreciate Kevin letting me check this one out. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching to this point. It helps the algorithm. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to leave that like. Consider subscribing if you're not subscribed. Comment down below. All of that helps me out. I really appreciate it, guys. A special thank you to my channel members. That extra level of support that you bring really helps this channel. That consistency is awesome, and I really appreciate it. I hope all of you have a fantastic week, and I'll catch you all on the next one. Peace.